So delighted to have one of my favorite people in the room today, and that is the fabulous Kathy Carter back in the house. Good to see you. I know it's a little tricky with we're kind of...
Well, it's a very interesting place.
It is, doesn't it? Now, you've been around television and movie sets your whole life. It reminds me of a back set, because you have all these huge buildings, the airport's right here, and the gate is always another story, but you're here, that's all that matters.
Right, it reminded me too of like RKO's 40 Acres backlot.
Right.
As you know, I was just at the Film Noir Festival, and they were playing The Night of the Hunter, which is this wonderful, fabulous film with Robert Mitchum and Lillian Gish and Shelley Winters, and they, on the back lot, built a whole river and stream and everything. But it was a fabulous movie. It was like '2 horror film that has ever, suspense thriller film that has ever been made.
Yeah. Now, obviously you came in town, the gala was last night, you were there for that. Kathy, in case people don't know what the film noir thing is, I mean, I know I do, but explain it to people what type of films they show.
This is a very special kind of genre that fit into a niche like from the 50s. And it's very kind of edgy, black and white, thriller, and exciting.
Yeah.
And so it has a certain grittiness and a certain appeal, and they were fabulous stars. Big close-ups on people, interesting lighting, interesting angles, and it was my first movie.
No kidding.
Yes. And I was 2 years old.
Yes, of course you were.
No, I was actually 8. And I was the double for the little girl in the film, who was Sally Jane Bruce. And it was Charles Laughton, you know Charles Laughton, his first and last directing duty.
Really?
Yes.
First and last?
Yes, because the film, and he invested so much time and passion into making this fabulous film that was adapted from a book by Davis Grubb. Anyway, when it came out, it did not receive wonderful reviews because it was really ahead of its time. It was very lyrical. It had a fantasy about it. It was about good and evil, with Robert Mitchum playing this really eerie preacher with L-O-V-E written on one hand and H-A-T-E written on the other.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, these were very, mid-50s, very edgy, different film than what you mainly saw in those days.
Absolutely, and it was even so ahead of its time, expressionistic. So it didn't get good reviews. Charles Laughton was just so devastated and disappointed, and it didn't get good box office. It was produced by Paul Gregory, who was a denizen here in Palm Springs. So he said, well, Laughton, you know, this really didn't go the way we wanted. So he never directed another film.
Isn't that something? I'm wondering, that'd be a great trivia question. How many people were a director first and last on one film?
Yes, and I imagine he wasn't the only one.
Yeah. Wow. So you were in for that. Gala was last night.
Right, to the 20th anniversary.
20th anniversary,
Arthur Lyons Film Noir Festival.
Exactly. And you'll obviously remember because you were there, and I remember being out there with you. There was a big event that you did. It was the anniversary of the Family Affair show, and I think it was in the same place, wasn't it?
It was.
About a year or two ago. Now time goes so fast, I forget.
That's right. It was at the Camelot Theater, and that was the 50th anniversary of Family Affair.
That was a great night.
Which is strange, since I'm only 39.
I know, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't work.
No, time machine.
Anyway, but yeah, no, that was a really great night, and there was a great turnout. And you were so nice and gracious with everybody. People were always interested in the shows and questions, and the big cake that night and all the different things.
Ah, yes, you remember it well. And now it's the Palm Springs Cultural Center.
Exactly.
And I was talking to the president, and they have big plans for it. They're changing the little theater, and it's going to be a part of the Palm Springs college.
Yes, that's right.
Desert, Palm Springs at the desert, and they are taking away that whole mall and building the college there.
Exactly right. That's all going on since you've been here last. And you know, they've always been, and you know all this, but maybe some of our listeners don't. They've always been very involved with the film festivals. The big one in January, the Short Fest comes up in June, and they did change the name, but they're doing a lot more there. And that's always been a hub for all kind of great film things. So very good. Now, didn't you, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you used to live here part-time or still do or something?
Oh, yeah, I had a condo here for 30 years.
That's what I thought.
Yes,
Yeah.
again, very odd since I'm 39.
I know.
But, you know.
But buying all this stuff when you were a kid.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Lindsay Lohan can do it.
Hey,
So.
why, exactly, why not? But so obviously, I mean, you've had a fondness for the desert for a long time.
I love the desert.
Yeah.
As soon as I come off that 110 onto I just relax.
It does something to you. Now, you've been coming out here for a long time, and you can see the desert has changed drastically.
Oh my gosh.
Still great, it's just getting better.
Yeah, and it's very different with the buildings and it just, all the buildings going on.
Yeah.
But it's an international destination.
It is.
And you know, I have a star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars.
Yes, and I'm fortunate to have one myself.
Yes.
So we have that coming. We talked about that before.
And I didn't interview you because I was doing Star Watch,
that's right.
the television show.
Yes, exactly. Because we talked about that. You remember bringing me all these, and that was a great show. You had some good guests on there, really good ones.
Oh yeah, Trini Lopez and Lindsay Wagner and Ruta Lee. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, we can talk about that a little bit. That is such a big day in your life. I mean, you do all these different achievements, and I know maybe it was the same with you. When you get the call back, you're kind of not sure, are they kidding me? Is this me being punked or whatever? But it's a great event, and they still have it still going. They just there was just a start just recently on Monday, and it's a big deal, and that's always going to be there, no matter where you go or whatever. It's part of the Palm Springs history. So, big event. Yeah, you must have thought when you saw downtown Palm Springs, because I don't know, well, you've been here since the building's been going on, but now it's just like one thing after another, and not everybody likes it, Kathy.
Oh no, I mean there was such a wonderful feeling with the small rancheros and the quaint buildings, and it added to that really warm quietude as you were just walking down the street.
Right.
But now it's just kind of hustle
It's
and
like Santa
bustle.
Monica without the ocean.
Yes,
It's
yes.
different. I like it, but I like the other two.
Right. You know, and so you're thinking, well, is there another place that's around the desert where you can recapture that nice feeling of the haciendas and all of that? But I haven't found that yet.
Yeah. Well, here's the
certain
thing.
areas.
You know, because I don't have to tell you, you know the area. But the thing is, and I find this when I'm talking with people, and I'm sure you do too, and you have a lot of history here, know the desert well. When you talk with people, they always know the name Palm Springs. But now they're starting to know Indian Wells because of the tennis event, the BNP Paribas, which is huge. They know Coachella in India because of the music festivals. And they're starting to know different things. But as you well know, this isn't just a sleepy little village. There's 500,000 people here, way more than that, hundreds of thousands more when the season's going on. So it's a big place. And people can't get that in their head. They don't realize how big it is here. So.
And there's so many things going on all the time.
All year long?
Now, I'm coming back next weekend.
Well, you have to come back in here then.
Oh, yeah.
You're more than welcome anytime.
Well,
I'll just put that out there.
Thank you. I have my 4th book that is coming out.
That's the next thing I was going to talk about.
Yeah, and we're doing a launch at Just Fabulous.
Good.
From 12 to 2 on May 19th.
Okay.
I can remember that date. It was my mom's birthday.
Oh,
and the
perfect.
publisher said, when do you want this released? And I said, May 19th.
Yeah, you're like me. It means something to you. Yeah.
Right, and spring too is always a good time to launch a book. So this one is called Holiday Recipes for a Family Affair, my television series.
Sure.
And every month has a holiday.
Every month, yeah, exactly.
So Sunday is Mother's Day, and I have Mother's Day brunches, and then we come to June for Father's Day and barbecue recipes. In July, of course, we have the 4th of July and all those recipes. They're very good menus plus recipes.
Right.
And I like that. I like when things, and when, do you cook?
I got to cook, and I'm a wonderful wife.
That's what my husband said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and actually my husband is with me this trip, and he hadn't been to Palm Springs
Really?
in about, maybe 3 years. He was astounded
3 years
by the
ago,
change.
Totally different place. Yeah, 'cause
Right.
all the things that have happened in the last year and a half or so.
Yes, right. And then on Tuesday, the 21st, May 21st, I'm going to be at Quads in Palm Springs, and I'll be doing a book signing of my other books, Surviving Cissy, My Family Affair of Life in Hollywood, my other cookbook, The Family Affair Cookbook, and then Ex-Child Stars, Where Are They Now?
Yeah, I remember that one. And you do a lot of things where you'll be with other child stars. different events and big celebrations and weekends, and you do that a lot too, huh?
Yes, and now we have a big cruise that's going on.
I know.
Yes, December the 5th to December the 9th on the Royal Princess, and we're leaving from San Pedro, California,
Right.
to Catalina,
Perfect.
Ensenada,
Yep.
and back. It's a perfect, like, little
That's a
5-day
perfect
getaway,
deal. Yeah.
and it's over like a partial weekend. And speaking of child stars, Tony Dow
Some of my
and
favorites.
Jerry Mathers.
The Beav and Wally.
That's right. And Stan Livingston
Sure.
from My Three Sons, and me, and Paul Peterson
Yeah.
from A Donna Reed Show.
Sure.
So we're going to have a great time. People are invited. They can get tickets. They can go to my website because I have it listed there, kathygarver.com.
Right.
And then I'm doing
You are nonstop. Kathy, you've got so much going on.
Well,
and I got to tell you, you look as pretty as the day I met you. You never change. You don't. You know what? Because you're always happy and you're busy. I think it has a lot to do with it.
I think so too. And when you get a little older, as you know, I told you I was 39.
No, I'm still trying to figure. But anyway.
You know, you said, what do I want to do with every day?
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have to live every day. And if you have your mind going and you have a project, it moves you forward.
Yeah.
If you have something to look forward to. One of the things on my bucket list I'm doing in June of 2020 is a river cruise.
And, you know, I hear they're fabulous.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have always wanted to go on a river cruise.
I think I'd rather do that than the ocean cruises.
I get seasick. I mean, I've gone on ocean cruises.
Once you're out there, it's like, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why the one to Ensenada, it's
Perfect.
like in, you know, not in Caribbean hurricane waters,
No,
but it is a little nicer. And so it's going from Budapest to Passau, Germany,
nice, yeah.
and it's on the Danube. So
Lovely.
people can go on that too.
Okay.
And I have that on my website. That's June of 2020.
You're planning way ahead. Can you hang around, or you have to be somewhere else?
I can hang around because my husband went to get coffee.
Well, you
and
have
you
to.
know,
He drove, right?
Yeah,
You have to
guys
stay.
in direction, not to be mean.
No, I know all about that. We'll see him about noon. All right, Kathy Garver with us and going to hang around. It's Dan and Coffee on iHub Radio. We've covered some of the things going on now, but let's talk about the show a little bit because, you know, these iconic 60s television programs, they're still on, a lot of them on different channels, and they just never get old. I mean, they're just always fun to watch, but talk about being a part of Family Affair.
Well, it was fabulous, and as you say, they don't get old, and I think the classicism and the reason that people still like to listen to them, to talk, like last night, when I was at the Film Noir Festival and I was signing books and chatting with people, and this fellow says, well, you know, I watch Family Affair all the time. It's like on Decades, and it's on Amazon, etc. And he says, because I go there, and it's like coming around the bend to Palm Springs. He says, I just relax.
Yeah.
It is so comforting, and I get out of all the hustle and bustle and people yelling at each other and insulting each other. And it's like a half hour of therapy in a way.
It is.
And so I think that accounts for its popularity. And Mrs. Beasley,
Of course.
who was like a prime character in the show,
Sure.
is still extant. And the people that make her
And in case people don't know, that's the doll that was the doll on the show.
on Family Affair, and Ashton Drake, they still sell 100,000 of these Mrs. Beasleys a year.
They really?
Yeah.
100? Wow.
So-
I'm gonna start looking for them.
I have started like a little cottage industry off of really milking Family Affair. I have Sissy candy bars, I have Sissy candles, we're coming out with Sissy champagne.
Hey.
Which is like a rosé champagne. You know, the millennials absolutely love these sweet wines.
I know.
I have, as old as I am, a 28-year-old and his fiance, who they live in the basement. They've been there for 5 years. But they love the sweet, like the rosé champagnes and rosé wines and sangria, maybe to sweeten up the life and the tension they feel and the stress of our times.
Might be true. I like the fact that you're still enthusiastic and so happy to talk about all the things. And these were, like you said, these were programs that people look for. In those days, it was once a week. Whatever night, I forget what night it was on.
Monday nights. 9:30.
Yeah, and then you could only see it that one night. Now you can watch every episode for whatever. But people looked forward to seeing programs like that, and not the same in any way, but like the Carol Burnett Show and all the great television of the '60s, '70s, and beyond. And I don't know what happened after that, but I don't know. It's just all changed so much.
And they like also binging on it, and watching one after the other, and it just builds. They found that it's very popular for just people to show a whole thing of each show, and we did like about 140 episodes of Family Affair.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was on. How many years was it on, man? That's a lot. 5 years, yeah.
Right.
5 years. That's a great run.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. You have to at least have 3 years before it's able to be syndicated.
Yeah.
So after the third year, they started syndicating it, so it was shown at night, and then it was also shown at 3 o'clock.
Right.
And they were able to do that. We're working on Aunt Cissy right now, which is kind of a sequel to Family Affair,
great.
And with the same kind of character and what happened to her when she grew up. A half-hour comedy, which I think we might shoot in Palm Springs.
You should.
Yes.
You should definitely do that. Now, what about who remains from the program? Johnny Whitaker?
He's the only one left
He's the
who
only
played
one left.
Jody.
He played Jody, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And do you stay in touch?
Not really.
Yeah.
I have just moved to Los Angeles after living in San Francisco for 36 years.
I know you live in Northern California, yeah.
Yeah, so we just moved to Bell Canyon. Missed the fires there,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
good.
Wow, yeah.
But happy to be back in
Yeah.
where I was born, and more of talking about a hub.
Yeah.
You know, you're iHub Radio,
Yeah.
and we're iHub Entertainment
Right,
in Los
sure,
Angeles,
sure.
so it's much nicer. I'm
Yeah,
enjoying it.
it's either pretty much Los Angeles or Vegas. So there's a couple but I'd rather much be in Los Angeles than Vegas. So.
Oh yeah.
And you're this close to Palm Springs, so you can come out anytime.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
2 hours and 23 minutes.
Yeah.
From my
On a
house.
good day.
On a good day. Sometimes 4 hours on a real bad day.
What about when you do these cruises with all the other stars? It's got to be fun to hang out with Jerry and Tony and all the other ones too.
Yes.
All the same era.
Yes, we have a common bond, and with my book, Ex-Child Stars, that was my third book.
I think you gave me. I've got some book from you. I think that's the one.
Yeah, I think I have, if you want my new book, The Holiday Recipes for a Family Affair, I think I have one in the car.
Okay.
When he comes back, and I'll give you one.
Lovely.
So the Ex-Child Stars, and when I was doing research for it, and it was the favorite child stars of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s on TV, and how some were able to make a transition from a child to an adult actor,
Right.
and some that just melted away, or unfortunately other devastating things happened to them.
Yeah, exactly. And then some stars that were fairly big stars as children, that was it. They never that was all they did. They never went to another adult roles or whatever. So.
Yes, even like last night when I was doing the film noir, The Night of the Hunter, the little girl, Sally Jane Bruce, that was her first picture and her last.
Wow.
Just like Charles Laughton directed first and last directing, that was her first and last. So sometimes people are not just geared for the kind of rejection, or I read this thing just a couple days ago where you have to revel in your triumphs as much as give yourself sorrow for your defeats. You know, some people can't accept success and be happy about it, and some people get too devastated by their losses.
Exactly.
So, let yourself feel, but then keep going.
Got to do it. All right, we got a couple minutes yet, and I'm going to give you the invitation. If you have the chance, you're more than welcome to stop by next Friday or whenever. If you don't, I totally understand, but I know you won't be too far away. We got a little bit of time, so you got plenty of time to expand on this. I always ask everybody, I probably asked you this before, what's something their fans don't know about you, Kat?
That I probably have a lot more depth than people think.
Yeah.
Because, and especially now, I'm like 5'1", blonde hair, and so people take their first impressions of people.
Yeah.
I learned this in psychology at UCLA.
Yeah.
That was my major, but a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. However, people's first impression are 90% correct,
Yeah, it's true.
actually.
Yeah.
And however, and you say, oh, well, you're so shallow if you just say, what does a person look like?
Yeah.
But the way a person looks like is a reflection of themselves.
Right.
So you might take me as, here she is wearing pink with blonde hair.
Yeah, you look beautiful. You always do that.
So this is maybe a dumb blonde, but,
No.
I've written books and I've done speeches,
Yeah.
and I love family life more than anything, which is probably is what someone would assume. I'm trying to think what they would not assume. What do you think?
I don't know. See, that's the thing with the internet now. People can figure out just about anything. But I've heard anything you can imagine. Like Lionel Richie told me he loved cutting his own grass. And I can go on people ride Harleys, skydive, whatever. So there's the music, so you might get off easy.
Thank goodness for small favors or large ones.
Kathy Garver, it's always great to have you. And I'm not going to hold you to it, but if you want to come back next week, you are more than welcome. Just send me a text or an email. Now you know how to get in the gate, so it's no big deal.
Yes. Remember that hashtag.
Yeah, that hashtag. All right. Love you, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, Dan.